Hey, how are you guys? My name is Harrison Barron. Thank you guys so much for visiting my channel. I am the Millennial Entrepreneur. Now, in this video, I want to kind of cover what you need to do on your profile and what's acceptable and not acceptable to put on your LinkedIn profile. So, if you have a LinkedIn profile, this is absolutely a video for you. If you don't have a LinkedIn profile yet, watch this video and then go make a profile because you're going to learn what not to do and what to do in each section. So, let's get into it. Right here we have my profile. Now, I've done a ton of work on my profile, but right off the bat, let's get into a couple things. The first thing you could possibly see is going to be your profile picture, your headline, and your background image. These are the most important sections of your profile. Now, you're probably wondering, Harrison, I don't understand. Why are those important, right? People want to know that you are a professional. They want to know that you've invested a little bit of time, energy, effort, and money in yourself. And your background image is the easiest way to tell people what you do and how you do it. It's the absolute best place to advertise to get people's attention. So right there, I say, I help companies build their online presence. This is going to tell somebody, hey, I'm the guy that you need to go to if you need help building your online presence, right? Now, I also do help people, and that's probably why you're watching this, but my main target is really going to be companies because companies need to have all their stuff cleaned up or to be educated, to educate their employees on how to clean this stuff up. Your profile picture, go spend a little money. Go get a really good one. You know, if you don't have a really good one, take your phone, put it in profile mode, go up against a background, a neutral background, and take a picture of it. Smile, make eye contact with the camera. Those are all super important things. Now, the next thing on here is your headline, and your headline is going to cover what you do and how you do it. So I help companies and people make better connections and content on LinkedIn. What does that mean? It means exactly what it says, right? I'm helping them build and make better content online. That's exactly what I do. That's exactly what I help people with. What you do in your company is going to vary differently than what I do. But don't just tell people you're a senior account manager or you do this or you do this. Tell people what you do in a creative way that makes somebody say, huh, okay, good. I want to reach out to that person. I want to connect with that person because that person might have something that I might want. Or if you're an accountant, I love using accountants because accountants help companies master their finance, right? I help companies understand their money, right? It's kind of weird because a company should understand their money, but an accountant helps them understand their money, right? It sounds so simple, but it makes you think and say, oh, okay, that's a good idea. Now, if we move on, now, you may or may not have these two boxes. These boxes are for opportunities, right? So if a recruiter wants to or is looking for a digital marketing person, I want to be able to offer my services, right? Myself and my team to come in and clean that up and fix whatever they have an issue with or help them progress forward. The other services are for LinkedIn Pro Finder. Now, I will make a whole nother video about that probably shortly after this one, but for right now, let's get into the About section, the fourth most important part on your profile. So if you go to your LinkedIn About section, you can hit this little drawing button and you can find your summary. I highly recommend building it in like Word and then copying and pasting it in. And then you could link your websites, right? So I have my training courses, I have my company, and then I also have my podcast. Now, for the sake of this video, I'm not going to save anything, but I want to cover my About section because this is where the magic happens. This is where somebody goes from looking at your profile picture, your background, and your headline to saying, let me go find more about this person. Let me learn. Let me see what they do and how they do it, right? So, hey, I'm Harrison. I'm the founder of Barron Media Group and a creator of LinkedIn Success Course, right? I tell people exactly what I do. I tell people who I want to work with, right? Small and mid-sized businesses to help grow warm lead traffic. I tell people what people tell me, right? They're frustrated. They share that they're frustrated. They aren't getting the visibility on the internet they want. Others are concerned for marketing efforts and they're not working. And occasionally I find clients who are aggravated that they don't know how to reach their target market. They don't understand how to develop a message to get there. What we're really good at, list all my things. So now when somebody looks at this, they can even email me or schedule a meeting with me or join my free Facebook group, which you're welcome to go do. Now they have a whole area of saying, hey, not only do I not know this person, now he's giving me the opportunity to email, to schedule a meeting, and even to join his private Facebook group where I could get direct access to Harrison, myself, and ask any questions I might have, right? That's why it's there. It gives people this level of comfort and say, We know what Harrison does. I know what Harrison does. And I might not even know him, but I trust him because he's giving me a way to reach out. It's by no stretch of the imagination salesy. It's just letting people know, hey, I'm here and you have the opportunity. That's what the best part about LinkedIn is. It's about opening doors and creating opportunities for different people. Next, you're going to have your dashboard, right? How many people have viewed you in the last 30 days? How many view posts? That's a relatively new post, probably about 8 to 10 hours old or 12 hours old now, and 113 search appearances. I have an all-star status, right? And then see how your salary compares to others in the community. I don't love this feature. It's really not accurate. Now, articles and activities, right? This is an article I posted a couple years ago, 5 things I learned at the age of 25 that no one ever taught me, and then some posts that I have and some interactions with other people. This is just where it is. You can see this on other people's profiles. So if you're thinking you're going to hide something silly or you're commenting or something like that, that's not the case. It's actually going to be public for people to see based on what you've done. So make sure everything that you're doing on LinkedIn is PG and all that kind of stuff, because I don't want somebody to get jammed up. And make sure, and just as a pro tip, add positivity. A lot of people don't add positivity. They might not be negative, but they're not positive. Try to be positive. All right. Next, we're going to go into experience. So my company, I've been there for 2 years. That's how long I've started it. I also help a company called ThinkReps, LLC. They're a manufacturer's firm. I'm the host of the Brutally Honest podcast. My old company, right? There's links to all of my old careers and stuff like that, or existing careers, because I want somebody to say, hey, you know what? This is what I want, right? Tell people a little bit about what the company does and what you did there, right? I own Barron Media Group, so it doesn't really have to be what I'm doing. And I'm working actively in ThinkReps, where I'm educating. It's a company where I need to educate people on what we even do. Now, in telling people about the Brutally Honest podcast, but inside Nerds I Care, I describe what I've done. So yours is going to be very different than mine, because I do own my own business and I'm a part of other businesses. But for somebody like you, or somebody that might be in your shoes, take some time out to really write down what you do, right? Internal and external sales, canvassing, right? That's a sales term, account maintenance and management, build and develop projects with internal teams. These are all different things I did. So that way, if I'm going to look for a future job or a recruiter's looking to reach out to me, I could label every single thing I've done. I could tell them, hey, not only have I done all of these things, but I do them on the regular, and I'm so proud of what I've done that I'm going to lay it out for the world to see. I highly recommend you do that too. Support engineer, responsibilities. I talk about what it is. I didn't break them down as much because I wasn't in that position for all that long until I went over to sales. But for sales, I wanted this to really also encase a lot of the technical terms that are used in sales, because that's who I want to attract, right? I want a recruiter to say, hey, not only does he do sales, he knows exactly what he's talking about, right? Canvassing is, we'll say a bigger word, a more powerful word, because most people don't use that unless you're in art, right? No, I need to canvas something, right? No, when you're in sales, canvassing, you're drawing out this layout, you're figuring out, hey, who's going to be a good target and how am I going to line them up, and starting to build a plan to go attack those people to make sales, right? So when you're building that out, kind of go through and say, hey, this is what I do, this is what I do, this is what I do, and really give people as much information as possible about it. Now, education. If you got anything higher than a 3.0, I love posting that kind of stuff. It's super important. If you got anything lower than a 3.0, or you're just super humble, don't put it there. I see tons of profiles that don't have anything. Now, don't be ashamed that you got lower than a 3.0, because I didn't do that great in school, but people want to see really high grades. If you got a 4.0 or a 3.9 or something like that, advertise it, because grades do matter. Companies do care a little bit about what you did in school, not because what classes you took matter, but because they want to see your work ethic. Higher grades typically mean higher work ethic. Not always. I know some people that do not study who have fantastic grades in school, but do yourself a favor. Take some time out and try to answer as many of these as you can, and put in as much information as possible, right? Emphasis in computer programming, activities. What did I do? I didn't do anything at Suffolk. I just studied there. Same thing at high school. What I did. I got an advanced Regents diploma, 2-year culinary arts and restaurant management certificate, right? It might not be so applicable, but that's what I did later or in my past life, and I'm proud of it, so I want to advertise it. Now, license and certifications. I am a firefighter. I guess technically I still am an Eagle Scout. Once an Eagle Scout, always an Eagle Scout. And I was an EMT for a couple of years. So make sure whatever licenses you have, you put them in there. So no, there is no expiration date on my Firefighter 1. There is no expiration date on Boy Scouts, but there is an expiration date on my EMT. And that's important because somebody might be looking in a different company or something like that saying, this kind of shows who you are and what you do in your free time. It also might say, hey, you know what? If I can hire somebody for the same amount of money who's an EMT, God forbid anything happens in the office, that's something great. That's something I might want in my company, as opposed to somebody who's not, because now I feel maybe a little more safe because somebody can help me out. Now, my volunteer experience, ex-captain, ex-lieutenant. I'm actually a lieutenant right now. Skills and endorsements. This is super important. Take time out to fill out as many skills as possible. Your first 3, as you just saw, show up. The other ones do not show up. You have to click and expand them. You can get people to endorse you and stuff like that. I love asking for endorsements when I remember to ask for endorsements. I see people, honestly, if you have 5 or 10 and you're not that active, I don't ask for endorsements anymore. I used to ask a lot for endorsements. And I've recently taken those things down because now that my role has changed and my old skills aren't as applicable. But do yourself a favor, add as many skills as possible, and if you want, ask people to endorse you. It really doesn't hurt having somebody go in and saying, hey, you know what, I endorse this person. It now asks you why and how much you endorse that person. So just take that as a grain of salt. Next, recommendations, right? I haven't asked for recommendations. Recommendations are extremely hard to get. Not because nobody wants to write them, because you have to track people down. It's the last thing they think about. So I've been asked for 11 of them, and I've asked for 6 of them, right? Typically, if you write one for somebody, they'll write one for you. That's just generally how it goes. Not always, though. People get busy, right? Even I get busy. I say I'm going to do something, and then I don't do something, right? I wanted to do this video 2 days ago, but that didn't happen, so that's why it's going up now. And last but not least, your accomplishments, right? Sandler Sales Training, Kappa Sigma Fraternity, Boom Business Network. I got a unit citation at my firehouse, and interests. Now, there is a whole other area for other things in your profile, and that's going to be at the top right of your profile where this just came down, the Add Profile section. So if you click this, it's going to go through each and every single thing, right? We have an intro, we have an about section, we have my background, we'll call it, with work experience, education, licenses, certificates, volunteer experience, skills, right? Accomplishments. Now, if you're published, by all means, you have patents, courses on your profile, projects you've worked on. If you worked on, remember, these aren't like you took a little test on Facebook and you published it to your Facebook page. No, like publications, you've actually been published by Forbes or something else, this, that, and the other thing, right? That is where it counts. Patents, same thing. If you have patents in your name and you want people to know about it, put it here. Remember, if you don't want somebody to know about it, do not put it on your profile. You are not required to put anything you don't want to on your profile. Then you have projects, you have honors and awards, you have your test scores, you have languages, right? Some people might want a multilingual person to work at their company, or you might be learning another language and you might put it on there. It could be something that you want to brag about to your friends. Any organizations you're a part of. Social organizations, betterment of the, Earth organizations, if you're a part of a non-for-profit, anything like that, that is a great place to advertise it. People want to see that you're well-cultured, even if you own your own business, right? That's the reason why I have all this. Yes, I do teach it, but I want people to see me and say, hey, this kid does a lot of different things. Perfect. This is what I want. Now, last but not least, if this scrolls up, we're going to go to any additional information, right? Request a recommendation. Just because you request it doesn't mean you're going to get it. If you're thinking about requesting a recommendation, pick up your phone and call somebody and say, hey, by the way, I'd love a recommendation for you. I know I just worked with you. I know you said some really powerful things about me. Could you do me a favor? Could you write it on LinkedIn? That's the best way to do it. Just remember, though, you got to stay on top of them because they will forget. They're not in front of their computer. They don't make a note about it. Sometimes I've even had to write my own, and then that person will review it and then post it for me because they're like, I just don't have time. Can you do me a favor? Can you write it? I know it sounds crazy, but that's a fact. That's what I've done for other people, and it's not doesn't make me a bad person. This is just a common theme, right? You're too busy. You need to do it yourself and just say, hey, can you just post it for me? And then last but not least, your supported languages. What languages do you speak about? Now, when you do all of these things and you add 50 connections, you then become all-star status. I try to tell people, try to get to 500 connections. Yeah, I believe it is 50 connections. It might be 100, but I know they recently just changed the number. But get to all-star status. That's when you're 27 times more likely to show up on LinkedIn. So do yourself a favor, fill out your profile. This should have covered pretty much everything you're going to need to know about your basic profile. Now, in other videos, I'm going to be going through a whole bunch of different things, everything from, how to find groups, how to start a page, anything like that. But for right now, the bare basics, this is what you need to know. This is what you need to do on your profile. Go through, right? Do yourself a favor. Try to perfect it. Look at it. Go back to it a couple days later. Look at it again. Go back to it a couple days later. Look at it again. Send it to a friend and say, hey, could you look at this for me? You want to make it look as good as possible. I hope this video helps you guys. I'm sure it probably does. If you guys want, feel free to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and do me a favor. If you've made it this far, comment down below what you found valuable and ask me any questions. I'd be more than happy to either answer them right away or make a video. That way you can almost have your own personalized video on a question that you may have. Until then, I'll see you guys later. Love you guys. Bye.